Hello everyone, welcome to another show, and in today's show we're going to be talking about what Google Ads metrics you should be measuring if you are running an e-commerce business. Which ones are the most important for you to better understand the health of your marketing, and which metrics should you pay attention to if you really want to grow your business. In studio I have Thomas, our senior Google Ads specialist. Nice to have you here, my friend.
All right.
While you're here, we want to squeeze as much value out of you as possible. So without any further ado, let's maybe just dive into some of the most important metrics that e-commerce businesses need to measure when it comes to their Google Ads campaigns.
All right. So first things first, of course, there's a whole bunch of metrics, as we mentioned before, and depending on the client and what their main goal is. So case in point, if the client cares about getting as much ROI or returns from their ads, from their ad spend inside the platform of Google Ads, then we'll be looking at a metric called ROAS, which is the return on ad spend. And you can just think of it as, if I'm spending $100 on Google Ads, how much revenue am I getting back from Google Ads specifically? So if I'm spending $100 and out of that I'm making $400, the ROAS over there would be a 4x ROAS. So that'll be one of the main metrics that we can be looking at inside of the e-commerce space.
Is the metric called ROAS in Google Ads, just out of interest?
Yeah, no. So inside Google Ads, it's going to be called like conversion value over cost. So it'll be CONV dot value divided by cost, and which is the actual formula for you to calculate it, which is conversion value over cost. So how much revenue, the conversion value, divided by how much did you spend, how much did it cost you to get that revenue, and that's how you get that ratio.
Because it's not like Facebook where the ROAS is actually up on the dashboard, or it's not as easy to find. So conversion value divided by cost, eh?
Yeah. Because Google likes to be very, very complicated for no reason.
For no reason, yeah.
That's cool.
So ROAS, I think the one thing I want to add to that is that a lot of people would think that's the most important metric, and to some extent it is really important, but it can also be a bit misleading, because if you spend $100 on marketing, you get a 10x ROAS. A lot of people will tell you that the campaign is extremely healthy, and in theory, yes, the campaign is healthy, and that's what we need to keep in mind. The ROAS is only an indication of how healthy the campaign is. It's by no means an indication of how much money you're actually putting back into the business. I think that's a very important disclaimer to understand, because we can sit here and go, I've got a 10x ROAS, but you've only spent 1,000 Rand on marketing and you've got 10,000 Rand back. That 9,000 Rand hypothetical profit, which is not even real profit after cost of goods and shipping and transaction fees and whatnot, the amount of profit that's going to be left back is not going to be enough to really cover expenses and salaries and all the other stuff that you need in order to run a business. So ROAS is important, but we need to combine that with many other metrics to truly understand whether the actual business is profitable or not. Because it's not so much if the campaign is healthy, it's is the business making enough profit in order to keep growing. And that's one thing I think I always try and articulate and explain to clients back when I was still obviously responsible. And when I work with business owners who we partner with or buy equity in their companies, that's the first thing I always highlight is like, if we're going to be doing this, you need to understand that yes, we're going to put money into marketing, we're going to see a return, but that by no means means that's the amount of profit that we're making. So how much actual tangible profit are we making? Because that's the only way to grow businesses, with the profit. You can't grow a business with revenue. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you can make the revenue, but before you know it, cost of goods have taken this, shipping fees have taken that. So the only way to truly grow a business is through profit. What pays bonuses? Profit. What pays people more money? What gives them raises? Profit. What allows you to go on holiday? Profit. Revenue is not going to do that. So even though ROAS is a really important metric, I think I want to just finalize my thought with, it needs to be combined with many other metrics to truly understand the health of the business from a marketing perspective.
Correct. And then another one we could be looking at is, of course, the number of sales. We're looking at the volume sales that you're getting. And as I mentioned in another episode, when you're tracking conversions, it could be a whole list of things, people filling in a form, a call. But in e-commerce, it's straightforward. What's the main thing that you care about? The main thing you care about in terms of those conversions is the number of sales. And yeah, so that's
what do you want to see if that goes down every single month?
Correct.
And how does that compare to the month prior and the year prior? And how much are you now spending to get those sales? So it's understanding now you're starting to see a picture. How many sales that we have, and how does the ROAS of those sales? And did we have less sales with higher ROAS? Because that's cool. So the ROAS might be amazing, but the sales are less, which means that we're not really going to be making enough profit, because we need more sales with the same amount of ROAS.
That would be,
or even a little bit less, if that's okay, because we're banking rands, not profit margins at the end of the day. So this is how we can start to see how the metrics are supporting each other to paint a better story about the business.
Yeah, and talking about the cost per sales, that is another metric that we mainly look at. Like, how much is it costing you to get those sales? Is it getting more expensive? Is it costing you 300 Rand, 400 Rand, 500 Rand?
And that's more of a direct correlation to the profitability of the actual sales that you're making, because the lower the sale will be, the more profit you're actually making on the transaction itself.
Yeah.
So the metric you want to measure there is cost per sale. You want to obviously get that down as much as possible, because if you can get that down as much as possible, the hypothetical hypothesis, in theory, you're going to be making more profit if the average order value remains the same, which brings us to the next metric, I suppose.
Yeah, the average order value. Like, when people are actually purchasing from your ads, like, on average, like, how much revenue are they getting back? So the reason we look at this metric is because, let's say comparing month by month, right? You're looking at, okay, last month we made 100 sales. This month we also made 100 sales, but the revenue is less. The metric that affects, like, the main thing that we're connecting with is that, people might have bought the same amount of times, but the average value, like how many products they were buying, or the average price of the product is just lower for some reason. And of course you can dive into that, but that's one of the metrics that we look at.
Well, this is how it starts to paint a story, because if you're the business owner who only measures transactions or orders or sales or purchases as, what is it called on Google Ads? Purchases, right? I think.
Yeah, so it's going to be called sales or purchases, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got purchases, and if you're that person who goes, I want to see an increase in total amount of sales, that's all I'm worried about. The reality is you might have 100 orders and make 100,000 Rand, and then you've got 120 orders and still make 100,000 Rand, and you're like, but wait, what happened? So this is an indication that your average order value probably went down. So another question is, how can you start improving that strategically in your business? Because how did that happen? Did you do a special? If you did a special, then that's naturally going to happen, because a lot of clients would be like, hey, we're doing a 20% off this month. Great. And then they're like, oh, average order value is down. It was like, yeah, because we're doing a discount. It's obviously going to happen.
That resistance. It's like
we consciously created that average order value drop. And now we need more sales in order to make more money back and more profit back. And then they would most likely ask, well, why did we do the discount in the first place? Well, the point is, we're trying to incentivize people to actually take action at the end of the day. Hopefully, because of the attractiveness of the deal, we're going to get more people to buy so that we can make more revenue, then more profit. And again, if you do a discount, your average order value is going to go down, which means your ROAS is going to go down too. So you can easily look at ROAS and going, oh, the campaigns need to be optimized because our ROAS is crappy now all of a sudden. No, it's crappy because we did a discount. So this is why all the metrics in correlation and measuring them together is super crucial. You can't just measure them in isolation and then determine the health of your business.
And just expanding on what you said about the offer, all these numbers connect to each other. So one increases, one decreases, one decreases, one increases. Ideally, of course, you want, when you're increasing one of the metrics of your cost, and then maybe your ROAS stays the same, and then we increase the spend. If that's the ideal proportions. And then when you see it's kind of flatlining, you try to see which levers can be, optimized.
Well, I mean, we just had a conversation just before this actual recording, and we were looking at our own business that you're helping in the Google Ads side with, and thank you so much for that. And we were talking about the ROAS. I think it's like 5x at the moment or something like that.
Yeah.
My words to you, what were my exact words to you?
If we have a certain amount of certain ROAS that we're happy with, just keep spending until it flatlines.
Exactly, right? Because that's how you grow a business at the end of the day. I think so many people are so fixated on the amount of money that they're spending on marketing, they're not really understanding the opportunity loss by not increasing the budget when your ROAS is healthy. And so they're so fixated on optimizing the ROAS with an existing budget. I've been spending 10K a month for the last 3 months, and I want you to increase my ROAS with the same budget because I want to increase profitability. But in theory, it's like you don't bank profit margins. Why don't you just increase your budget? That's the quickest lever that you can pull and the most high impact lever that you can pull that can make you double the amount of sales. That's my words to you. Spend as much as you need to, as long as that metric is about between 4 and 5. We know we're making enough profit to keep spending infinitely. And that's what we did with the brand, Sentimental. And we've gone from 0 to 1 million in recurring revenue. Like this month we'll hit 1 million, and it'll be exactly 11 months since we've launched. And very few businesses can get that right, but it's because we understand the metrics and how those metrics actually allow us to grow a business. And I think so many people are fixated on the marketing metrics of cost per sale and total orders have increased and average order value. And yes, all of that is important, but the bigger picture is how do all of that really paint a story to understand the health of your business. And yeah, I think it's just something worth unpacking. And I mean, it could probably be another half an hour episode if we go down that rabbit hole of all the different things a business should be measuring to determine its health. But from a Google Ads e-commerce perspective, we've mentioned ROAS, we've mentioned total purchases, the cost of a purchase, we've mentioned average order value, and this is something I usually measure on the meta ad side, is conversion rate of my ads. Is that something that you do on Google Ads or not really?
Yeah, so we do look at conversion rates, and the way that could be useful is to find out, okay, out of, let's say you've got a shopping campaign, it's the type of campaign that you have in Google Ads, and you've got all these products that you're advertising, and then we see, wait, this product over here, many people are purchasing it at a higher rate than the other products. So in that kind of case, we'll use that metric not as the main thing that we look at, but in context to the other products. And also when we're optimizing, like, where do we want to be spending more money? Now we look at the conversion rate. Is it getting a good ROAS, the ROI from that product being sold? How much is it costing us? What is the cost per sale? And if those numbers all look right relative to everything else in the account. So it could be we can go on a granular level, on a product level, can be on an ad group level, not to get too technical, could be on an ad level, or even different campaigns, because sometimes you'll be selling different product lines at different campaigns, but one has a higher conversion rate and be like, okay, great, let's put some more money in there. But keeping in mind if the other metrics are also good. So conversion rate comes into play that way.
Yeah, it's about the whole story at the end of the day, right? That's really what it boils down to. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that was probably one of my favorite episodes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed talking about this and geeking out about it.
Commerce, sell stuff on the internet.
I know, exactly right.
But look at these right metrics.
So I hope there was some value in it for you on the other side of this. If there was, I want to encourage you to consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. That's all from our side. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Thank you.